Hi, I'm Frank Finnerty, a member of the Egg Harbor Township Committee, and today I'm filling in for Sonny McCullough, who is on another assignment. My guest on the Mayor's Forum today is Rick Dovey, President of the Atlantic County Utilities Authority. Rick is here today to talk about the ACUA and the ACUA's Earth Day Festival. Rick, welcome to the Mayor's Forum. I know you've been here before, probably a long time ago. Can you tell the audience about the ACUA and what you do?
Yeah, sure. Good to see you again, Frank. I'm glad to be here and welcome the opportunity to talk about the ACUA. So the ACUA stands for, the letters stand for the Atlantic County Utilities Authority, and has two main functions, but we actually do a lot of other things beyond the two. We run the regional wastewater treatment system that collects all the wastewater from those parts of the county that have city sewage on the eastern half of the county, and then treat it at our wastewater treatment plant in Atlantic City. And then we run the countywide solid waste recycling composting system for the entire county. So those are our two main functions. And we're established operationally in 1978. The wastewater plant came online, and then about 10 years later, we started the operation of the countywide recycling program.
No, you do an excellent job out there. I've been out at the facilities on numerous occasions, and it's what I like to say about Rick is the fact that he's an innovator. He tries new things, and many new things. We're the state of the art in this kind of business, and it's because of the leadership of Rick. Rick has really made sure that the facilities and equipment and all the things that are necessary for what we do, Rick makes things disappear, and we all appreciate that you make things disappear, and so it's a real nice operation. And I know they at different times of the year you have people over there, and we'll talk about that in a little while. The ACUA solid waste facility operates right here in Egg Harbor Township. Maybe you can give the audience an overview what you do there.
Okay, well, the Hahnemann Environmental Park is what we call it. The
Right.
ACUA on Delilah Road in the northern part of Egg Harbor Township near Pleasantville and Absecon came online in 1990, and first we had a trash transfer facility, and then a landfill, then a recycling center, and a compost facility, and fleet maintenance facility there. So all of the trash in Atlantic County comes to our transfer station located at the environmental park, and then stays inside during the day, and then it's transferred at night out to the landfill, and we do landfilling at night. And that's a unique operation, the only place in the world where landfilling takes place at night. And that is to protect the planes and jets that operate out of Atlantic City Airport, both military and commercial flights. Birds are attracted to landfills, so we operate the landfill at night when it's dark and the birds don't see.
Right, sure.
So it's very unique, and
Right.
and it's a lot of responsibility, but we've been doing successfully for over 20 years. We also have a compost facility where the yard waste and vegetative waste from throughout the county doesn't have to come here to our facility, and is made into what we call eco soil, and then we sell that material to the public. So we have a pretty extensive composting system, similar to Egg Harbor Township.
Right.
You have your own
We have
public
our own.
works
Right.
system operation here, and that works real well also. But we serve many of the towns that don't have the space that Egg Harbor Township has to have a compost facility. And so that's quite an operation. And of course, we have a recycling processing center, with a recycling center that serves all of Atlantic County and even beyond. And that facility processes over 35,000 tons of recycling a year from throughout the county, both collected on by us on behalf of municipalities like Egg Harbor Township, and the private haulers also bring their recycling there to be processed. And then the material is separated and brought up to grade so that it can be sold in the international commodities market. And our plant has been operating since around 1988, and it's been a big success. So those are our three main things at the environmental park, and of course our main offices of the ACUA are also located there.
So you have a lot of things going on out there. I mean, it's a busy area.
It is.
It's
yeah,
very busy.
There's over 300 vehicles a day come to dispose of waste or recycling, come to our site.
And maybe just tell the audience a little bit of the history, brief history, of how it ended up, the recycling operation ended up in Egg Harbor Township. I think you mentioned the wastewater part of it started, what, 1978?
Yes.
1978. And what year was the plant on Delilah Road formed?
The environmental park opened in 1990, in the summer of 1990, when all of the landfills in the county that were located in the west and the middle part of the county, even the Pinelands Park landfill, where the McCullough Golf Course is now, they all were located within the Pineland zone and had to close by August of 1990. And we had to have a new facility outside of the Pinelands, which this facility, the environmental park, is just across the parkway to the east. And so it was able to come online at that point in time. Recycling had started about 3 years earlier. We had started the recycling program in Egg Harbor Township, first at an old beverage warehouse, and then eventually built and brought online the new recycling center that we operate today.
Okay, so prior to the facility off Delilah Road, I guess several towns must have had their own landfill for
yes.
We should refer to it as the
dump.
Yeah.
They were, and most of them were dumps. Traditionally, each town would have their own dump or dumps. Galloway Township had 4 municipal landfills.
I mean, Lank City had a dump. I remember that.
Yeah, really. That's where Borgata and Harris are located
correct,
now.
yeah.
Brigantine, the south
Brigantine
end,
had it. That's where all the
Ventnor West, they're there. But in the 60s and the 70s, the environmental impacts, negative impacts of those landfills and its impact on particularly groundwater resources became evident, and the laws, both at the state and the national level, changed that, and we could not continue to do that any longer. But the rest of the towns throughout the county, all the way out to Bunaboro, Buena Vista, and Hamilton and so forth, they all had their own landfills.
Sure.
They all had to close. So we had to, the ACUA had to have that facility online. Frank, you'll remember it took quite a while to pick a site.
Yes. Well,
so
not everybody's interested in having
and nobody was really interested in having
No.
it, but it was a responsibility that had been assigned legally by state government to each county government. And then the county government here assigned it to the ACUA to come up and develop a facility that would serve the entire county.
And I think Fritz Hahnemann was involved. What was his title, Fritz Hahnemann?
Fritz was my predecessor. He was the
Okay.
president, and I had worked for Fritz earlier in my career and helped develop some of these projects early on.
Because he was the gentleman that was out trying to secure a location for Atlantic County.
Yes,
right?
yes. So through most of the 1980s, that's what he was spending his time on, was developing and finding the appropriate site. In the end, this really has worked out to be a site that works as well as a waste disposal site can be for anybody. It's located in an area, the township, where there's very few homes, if any. It's
Right.
zoned industrial, near
Right.
the FAA Tech Center, near the Parkway, near the industrial area, industrial parks.
Right. And several, the old landfills have been very successful as far as recycling them. In other words, in Egg Harbor Township, the one facility is really a beautiful golf course.
Which is really something to, is a very notable accomplishment. There are several in the country, but this was one of the first in the East Coast. So the township took the lead on that to implement and develop the McCullough's Golf Course on top of an existing closed landfill.
Because there was not many options we
right.
had there.
The other large private landfill that existed in the township was the notorious Price's Pit, which had groundwater pollution issues and was a Superfund site.
And I think it's in the works. I think they're attempting to open that up for solar.
Oh yeah, they're developing a solar farm on top of it.
Right, so that's a good use
and
for it.
Actually, one of the other Price's landfills, there were 3 actually in the township, or mostly in the township, and the other one, Price's Pit 2, has already been developed as a solar facility.
Okay. Do you have any complaints from that type of operation that you're doing?
I would say the 2 primary complaints we get is truck traffic and litter on vehicles that are coming to that to the facility, and we try to keep in touch on top of that with the county. It's primarily county roads, and we have a cleanup program to do that. And the other is odors, and there are odors from a landfill,
Right, sure.
and they happen from time to time, and we take them very serious and have implemented many measures to reduce or eliminate odors from the landfill.
Okay. If a resident wanted, what type of items are taken to your solid waste facility?
Well, just about everything, from old boats. I just saw in the current.
I saw that.
Yeah,
I
I saw
too.
that in the
Yeah.
paper the other day about a cleanup along Pacon Creek, that there were a couple old abandoned boats taken to the ACUA. So all trailers, but traditional household trash, commercial trash from stores and businesses and factories. Yard waste, vegetative waste is brought there. Old white goods, washers, dryers, that sort of thing. Just about anything but hazardous waste. We have special days and conditions for household hazardous waste when that's accepted. But pretty much all household waste and commercial waste comes to us.
Now, probably almost every resident in Egg Harbor Township has an old paint can laying around or some other antifreeze container. How do they handle that?
Well, we have every other month. We have on the first Saturday of every other month, we have Household Hazardous Waste Day, where folks can bring, residents, private homeowners can bring, not commercial, can bring those materials that have collected in their cellars, their sheds, their garages, their attics, wherever that might be, and we all have those chemicals and materials that we just never going to get to, they can be brought there. And the only thing that can't be brought is explosives and
Right.
and
Is that once a
things
month,
It's
Rick?
once every other month.
Once every other month.
First Saturday every other month.
First Saturday every other month. Okay, that's good
Right.
for a lot of people to know that. They can get rid of those old paint cans that they have hanging around.
Yeah, and most everybody in the county gets a recycling calendar card that comes in their weekly newspaper.
Okay.
In there, those dates are marked on there for everybody.
You may have handled this to some degree already. If a resident wanted to bring one of those items to the facility, what would they do and how much would it cost them?
Well, for household hazardous waste, for a resident or homeowner in Atlantic County, it doesn't cost them anything. So we just make sure we get their
good to know.
establish their address, that they're a resident of Atlantic County, and that's pretty much it. If there's a material that they've brought that is not acceptable, we'll put it back in their car or truck and give them some advice on where they might take material.
That's good to know that, Rosemary.
Yeah.
So many people have so many things in their backyard or somewhere in the garage.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a place for them to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And
Right,
free.
it's important. Right.
Free.
Yeah, you don't really want it to go in the regular trash.
No,
It could
no.
cause a fire or
Right.
other hazard to the waste collectors.
ACUA also provides recycling collection here in the township. Have you noticed if collections are getting better over time?
Collections from households and residents in Atlantic County is real strong in Egg Harbor Township. Every year we do a report card. We prepare a report card with the actual numbers and that have been collected in each town, and we present those to the municipal government. Egg Harbor Township has done very well. Throughout the county, we're doing very well. I'd say the biggest challenge is commercial recycling from businesses, schools, factories, offices. That's the big challenge because 60% of our waste in this county is coming from those sources, not from homes. Residents, citizens of Atlantic County at home, by and large, recycle almost in every town, recycle very well and effectively and follow the rules. It's something that we haven't broken through on is how do we get people to understand that that's a responsibility in the law when they're at work or at school or some other event.
Right. Did you see when 2 or 3 casinos closed, did you see a reduction in things recycled?
Absolutely. Waste, but whether it's sewage or it's trash or recycling, is a real measurement of economic activity. So really, over the last 3 years, the amount of sewage went down for the first time since 1978.
Has it plateaued?
Yeah, we're pretty sure that the last year, 2017, where it was the worst year, and we anticipate it's going to go up. Trash and recycling follows that same trend.
So we can measure our economy's progress by the amount of trash that is coming out.
There are some economists that use that as one of their barometers.
Do they
yes,
really?
yeah,
Do they really?
and it's very accurate. I mean, it's very reflective of economic activity.
Right. I think it could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. If residents are interested in learning more on recycling, where can they go to get more information and find out their collection schedule?
The ACUA website, acua.com, is really packed full of all of the information you want. And of course, there's a search function on there, and you can look for pretty much whatever you want. So if you, let's say, I don't know what to do with an old refrigerator, what can I do? There's advice about, depending on where you live, what town you live in, how that material could either be recycled or disposed of properly, and if there's a cost, what the cost would be. And we try to give as much information on that acua.com as we possibly can. We also encourage tours of our facilities, so we literally have thousands and thousands of people tour our solid waste and wastewater facilities, and there's nothing like seeing to educate people about, oh, that's why you do it that way, or I can do that, and now I can see. So we really have a lot of tours for all ages and types of people.
You mentioned all the sustainable projects the ACUA has been involved in. What kind of projects do you have at the solid waste facility?
Here at the environmental park located in Egg Harbor Township, we have several things. The recycling center itself is really a testament to an outstanding recycling program that, as I was just describing, from home to businesses to our facility and everywhere in between, people in Atlantic County have demonstrated a commitment to recycling and sustainability. The other is the landfill gas. So we have a landfill, as I talked about earlier in our interview. We take from the landfill, which is basically a giant garbage pile where trash is decomposing, which is what causes odors.
Right.
And we collect the methane gas
yeah.
through wells and collect
sell it?
And it is treated, and then it is made into electricity through a contract and an arrangement we have with a partner, a subsidiary of South Jersey Gas, that actually makes electricity from our decomposing trash.
Wow, that's great.
And that facility's been online since 1996 and has been very productive. We sell the electricity, well, I should say they sell the electricity. We get a portion of the profits. There's less odors released to the atmosphere, less
great.
methane gas released. So that's very effective.
Yeah.
We're working on, hopefully, be able to bring to fruition taking the still remaining landfill gas and making it into a fuel for transportation use, and that can be sold back through the natural gas lines from the gas company and be used for compressed natural gas. Yeah. So compressed natural gas is another thing that we have implemented.
So you mentioned that some of the methane is taken from the landfill. How often is it released to the private person? Like
it's 24 hours a day, never stops. It's an ongoing operation.
And the gas goes into some kind of a container?
It goes into a tank where it's treated to reduce the material that's in the gas that would damage the generators that generate the electricity.
Do they used to have like towers where they would burn it off? Is that still?
You always have a flare, that's called,
right.
Just like you see at any chemical plant. That's the fail-safe, because you can't release the gas. If you can't use it for electricity, you have to flare it so that it's burned off before it goes into the atmosphere.
Right.
So those flares are running all the time. It's like a pilot light. It has to be there on as a backup if the engines on the generators should fail or be not working correctly.
Okay. Besides the ACUA's main mission, you are involved in the community. Can you tell us about the community initiatives and events?
Well, we do a lot of things. We try to connect to the community, and our outreach is to teach folks about recycling and proper use of their water and protection of the environment. So we do that. Our biggest initiative is the ACUA annual Earth Day Fair, and that's on April 22nd this year on a Sunday. And it's a great event. Last year we had over 7,000 people come.
Impressive.
We have hundreds of vendors. It's a totally free day. It's perfect for families, and there's a lot to learn and experience about the environment. And we have some neat things for kids and families to do, like hayride to the top of the landfill, the highest point in Atlantic County and Egg Harbor Township. And we have tours of the recycling center, tours to the wind farm in Atlantic City, and some great activities there.
The ACUA's Earth Day is a terrific event, and it's held right here in the township. Can you tell the audience what they can expect? You already alluded to that, but I've been there, and I noticed that it also gives people an opportunity of some of the things that you like, topsoil and mulch and certain things that they can secure at the ACUA.
Well, everything's about sales and education. So we are trying to educate folks about how to properly handle their recycling and yard waste and trash and wastewater and household hazardous waste. So we do sell, and we're promoting folks to see the eco soil being produced and the piles of it, and let them know that they can buy it at a later date either by bag or so forth. So it's a great opportunity to show off our wares.
This is very interesting, especially for our viewers. The ACUA offers one 20-gallon bucket yearly. Can you let our residents know how they could get the bucket and what it entails?
Sure. We have the 20-gallon recycling buckets that are each homeowner in the towns that we serve, and Egg Harbor Township is one of those that we serve recycling for, is entitled to one recycling bucket a year. And you may say, well, how do we keep track of that? We keep track of that. So we know, Frank, your address, and if you got one last year, it's okay to get one this year. But so we keep track of that. That's to keep it, the use of it. But we really want people to use recycling buckets, containers. It helps educate people. It helps in reducing litter and so forth. And it assists in the collection itself.
So when you go to request a bucket, a resident can also report an issue. Can you tell us how that works?
You can get a bucket either through email or going on our website. There's on our ACUA.com. There's a place where you can request a bucket. Usually it's delivered within 2 weeks to your home, so you don't have to go pick it up. It's delivered there, and there's an opportunity for you to make any observations or complaints or some compliments. We get them all about anything about our service or our operations.
If residents are interested in learning more about what we've discussed today, where should they go to get in touch, or how to get in touch with the ACUA?
Well, the easiest way is to go to our website, as I mentioned before, and it's worth repeating. ACUA.com is easy to find, and everything is on there. But our telephone numbers are there. We encourage people to call. They will be responded to immediately by a live person answering the phone. And those people are all able to answer almost all of your questions. And if there's a problem, they are tasked with the responsibility of reaching out to the person that can do that. So
we only have about a minute or less. Can you say something about the sewage facility over in Atlantic City?
Well, it's the wastewater treatment plant in Atlantic City is where the wind farm is. And people ask, why is there a wind farm there? Is the wastewater treatment plants use a tremendous amount of energy. And we were able to partner up with a company that built that wind farm, the first and only wind farm in New Jersey so far. It provides us electricity at a discount, saving us somewhere around $500,000 a year, depending on how windy it is that year. And we also have a solar facility there that also provides electricity to run the sewer plant and the pumping facilities.
That's excellent. And I do notice the difference. I was, as you know, I was a lifeguard at a beach, and the water quality back in the 60s and the early 70s was not good. What a difference the water quality since the sewage system. The water becomes almost drinkable. I don't know if I would drink it, but I've been told it's almost drinkable. And the water in the ocean is so clear as a result of that sewer system. Well, thank you for being here, Rick.
Well, thank you for having me.
And just to remind everyone, the festival is April 22nd, 2018 on Delilah Road, rain or shine, between the hours of 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. If our viewers have a topic of discussion on a person you would like for us to interview on the Mayor's Forum, please contact the Township at 926-4044. Thank you for joining us today.